Chiquito aninetzahualcoyotl, cuixocneli nemahuahuan tlalticpac, anochipa tlalticpac, sanachica chenican, tecachachihuitl nochiamani, noteocuicatl nitlapani, noquetzali ochteki, anochipa tlalticpac, sanachica chenica.
My name is XOKONOSCHTLETL GÓMORA, and the organization I founded is international and cultural, called Shangqu Anawak. It was created in 1981 to rescue our legacy, which is in foreign lands, as well as to restore and help in some social way the have-nots in our country, Mexico.
Ayudar en una forma social a principalmente los que no tienen de nuestro hermosísimo país, México.
For 30 years, I have dedicated myself full-time to this, which I consider a mission every day without rest.
Una tarea que es de tiempo completo, que todos los días.
Since Mexico gave me life, and for Mexico, if necessary, we should give our life as well. When this crown returns, which is not a plume, that has been in Austria since 1524, the spirituality we need will return so that we can once again have dignity. So that our people can realize the greatness of our beautiful culture and understand and appreciate those beautiful treasures that belong to us and are misnamed as archaeological zones, since to us they are open books to consciousness.
Y que mal llamados están como zonas arqueológicas, ya que para nosotros son libros abiertos a el conocimiento. Cuando esa corona regrese a casa,
when that crown returns home to Mexico, a new life will begin, a new way to understand our past, and through that we will know the greatness that awaits us in the near future.
La grandeza que nos espera en un futuro próximo. La corona
The crown belongs to Mexico.
pertenece a México.
The Spaniards, with their luxury of violence, reached our lands and immediately took prisoner Moctezuma, who received them with open arms. He never again was able to have that freedom.
El cual los recibió con los brazos abiertos. Nunca volvió a tener la libertad. Varios meses después, Cortés lo asesinó.
Several months after, Cortés assassinated Moctezuma with his bare hands and sent the crown to Spain to King Charles V. He was part of the Habsburgo family. In other words, he was the emperor of Germany, Austria, Belgium at the same time, and logically other countries. There were 4 in total. And he sent the crown to Austria 3 years after it reached Spain in 1524. Moctezuma's crown represents to our people wisdom, knowledge, and the return of the spirit of the person who ruled the Aztecs called Moctezuma, who we know here as Moctezuma.
Llamada Moctezuma, lo cual aquí conocemos como Moctezuma.
In Europe, and the Anglos call him Montezuma.
Montezuma. Esta corona representa.
That crown represents a spiritual power as well as a political and economical one, and it is very similar to the Pope's mitre.
Y para que se pueda entender, es muy similar a la mitra del Papa.
It is superior to any European crown of any kind or emperor, and it is the predecessor to the presidential sash.
Y es la antecesora de la banda presidencial, la cual no le pertenecía a Moctezuma, sino que era usada,
which didn't belong to Moctezuma, rather it was used by whomever was the maximum leader of the Aztecs.
Dentro de mis posibilidades, he estado en 47 países.
To achieve my goal, I have been in 47 countries and have covered almost 2 million kilometers.
1.9 millones de kilómetros. sea, casi 2 millones de kilómetros, muchísimo más que el Papa anterior. Son 40 veces dándole.
That would be like going around the earth 40 times. I have spoken with ministers, kings, princes, queens, and also chancellors, as well as federal representatives.
Asimismo, con diputados federales, ministros, etc. En Europa,
mainly in Europe and also in Mexico. But in other countries, I have done marches, proposals, strikes, and I speak in front of the United Nations. I am sent directly from the Mexican Front for Human Rights to the United Nations to recuperate our historical patrimony. There, I gather signatures. I look for signatures from Austrians who are in favor of returning the crown home. And I have over 250,000 signatures that I have already took to the Ministry of Culture. And I also took them with me to the current president of Austria. The last president, Thomas Castile, not only agreed to return the crown home, but also deliver it himself to Mexico. Presently, the Green Party said before the Austrian Parliament for the second time that they wish that the crown be returned to Mexico. Also, there are 5 federal representatives in favor of the crown returning home. Since 1938, Mexico was officially against Hitler invading Austria with German troops. Every year we have a march in Vienna. This year, 2007, it will be on September 15th, and we are organizing a group to come from this country to support us for a week in the city of Vienna. Unfortunately, I feel embarrassed, even pain and grief and frustration in saying that Europeans help me more than Mexicans do. In this case, Europeans being strangers to Mexico support me in organizing, selling my books, and things like that. I have written 9 books in German, and in April, a book will be released in the Republic of Anglos that will be in Spanish, and it is called Judgment to Spain.
República de Anglos, en donde está en español y se llama Juicio a España.
Later this year, another book will be released called Points of View from a Savage regarding civilized people. Possibly, another book will also be released this year called In Search of the Impossible. The Europeans helped me sell my books, organize my seminars, and many other things, but nevertheless, the Mexicans and the South Americans who should be helping me the most are actually giving me the least amount of help. In the marches that I organize, mainly in Austria, every year, people come from all over Europe, Germany, Switzerland, Japan, China, England, and from many other countries. But nevertheless, in all of the marches that I have organized, there have only been 2 Mexicans, and the reason for one of them being there is because I helped them find a place to sleep because they couldn't afford that. What I just said is very frustrating to me and even humiliating, that we do not realize our cultural heritage, and precisely because of this, 500 years later, we have made it so, an inferiority complex. We Mexicans can never be more than anyone, but we were never and will never be anything less than any other. Therefore, so that we can advance, we should know our cultures. Besides that, they're ours, and they are very accurate. They are very ancient, and we should know them. Today, so that we know how yesterday was, and in that way, know what awaits us tomorrow. My life hasn't changed much, since this is what I look for. Everything has a price, even though it's been incredibly hard because of multiple economical debts, since I have paid for all of this 30 years by myself. I am very happy since we have advanced so much. Last year we had a 90% chance that the crown will return home. Now, unfortunately, it has dropped 20%. But it shows me a lot that this world we have very, very little humanity. We see each other as human beings, but we don't behave as such. I am learning a lot of things, so when the crown finally returns home, which I hope will be in the next 3 years, I can realize work in Mexico so that our own people can recognize their roots, know their great past, and logically, through that, we can once again have our own identity. Looking at things from a family perspective, a few things have changed. I was married before, but because of me being so completely involved in this, I had to get a divorce and continue with this. Because in Mexico, the problem is precisely ourselves, Mexicans. Because I can't see how being a responsible Mexican that I am towards our fantastic country, that kids are in the streets, that there is no longer wisdom in our elders, and that there are hundreds of thousands of kids, women and men, and elders in the streets. I cannot bear to see this, and I have to do something about it. Because Mexico gave me my life, and I have to better it now. So I am in this, and I will continue to fight until I reach victory. And if on some occasion I do not reach it for any situation, that doesn't rest in me, but with those who are watching, since they didn't support as it should have been their obligation. Since I don't do this for the benefit of myself, I do this for the benefit of Mexico. And for that reason, people should want to help. It is their obligation. All Mexicans have obligations and also rights towards Mexico. Many times we forget, mainly the ones who live outside of Mexico. We forget that they have family there and that there are people who are far away from their lands. And the people of Mexico wait for us with open arms. And they should do things to better themselves. Therefore, they should support this because it is for the benefit of all Mexicans. We also have a website where we amply demonstrate our work. Since I can talk a lot, but the photographs and documents that we have up prove everything that we do to complete our odyssey throughout Europe. The webpage is XOKO.org, XOKO.org. There is a bank account, and hopefully you can send something, some kind of money to help us out, or help me out in any other way, but you have to do it. Only in that way, when we as Mexicans are united, the children, the young people, women, elders, those from the country as well as from the city, farm workers, as well as doctors or very humble people who have many other forms of power. And I must say that I am not the entire movement. I am just a very small part of it, so that Mexico and its Mexicans can better themselves. Did you understand me, Mexican? I imagine that you did not. But why? If this is precisely the Mexican language. Oh, you only speak Spanish? Being Mexican? In other words, you are a Spaniard born in Mexico. Who are you? Where do you come from? Where are you headed? What does Mexico mean? At what altitude is Mexico City above sea level? How big is Mexico? How many languages are spoken in Mexico? It's not Toluca, it's Tolocan. It's not Mexico, it's pronounced Mexico. It's not Oaxaca, it's Oaxaca. It's not Tasco, it's Tlaxco. It's not Mérida, it's called Tijo. It's not called and has never been called Veracruz, it's Atoclayohuayan. Just think, if they have changed the name of our cities, what has happened to our history? Because of this, I learned our oral history, not the official history. Your roots definitely will be the tools you should use to be able to observe with dignity even further. I recommend, even if you are in this country, not because of that you should become like the people here, since even though you are here, your roots are over there. And mainly, I would like to remind you that you should know yourself deeper. Respect beings with the respect that you deserve. Try not to smoke. Try not to drink alcohol. Try not to live a life of drugs. Try to always be honest. I don't see you, but nevertheless, you see yourself. And you should never be ashamed of yourself or where you come from. Get out of all that negative stuff and return to a path that will lead you to have an honest life, a good life, be loved, respected, and primarily waited for. Mexico waits for you with open arms at any moment. Never forget those origins, because to forget them would be to forget yourself. If you forget Mexico, and you will never be able to be the white person that you were trying to be at this time. Think about it. Meditate on it. Feel it. Hear it. And from now on, be it Mexican.